Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a pretty massive initiative happening right now at St. Paul's Anglican Church in Kogarah. And look, this isn't just your standard church event. We're talking about a fundamental paradigm shift for every single person in the congregation. It's called Discovery Sunday. But at its absolute core, what we're really unpacking today is identity. It's all about how we view our role. We're going to challenge some comfort zones, look at our habits, and really drill down into the critical difference between just being a consumer and stepping up to be a faithful servant.
So that brings us to a really heavy question right off the bat. Are we consumers of church or are we servants of God? Now, you and I both know that in our modern culture, we are completely conditioned to be consumers, right? We review restaurants on Yelp, we perfectly curate our Netflix queues, and if we aren't super careful, we bring that exact same consumer mindset right through the front doors of the church. We literally sit back, cross our arms, and evaluate the music, the sermon, even the temperature of the room. But St. Paul's Kogarah is confronting this head-on. Their vision is to gather, build, and nurture a nation that actually lives and breathes the gospel of Jesus Christ. And let's be real, you simply cannot build a nation if you're sitting on the sidelines.
The battle lines between these two mindsets are incredibly sharp. On one side, you've got the church consumer. This is characterized by, well, apathy. It's treating the church like a vendor that just hands out religious goods. It's all built around personal preference and comfort. But then, you contrast that with a faithful servant. According to the ministry documents from St. Paul's, a servant is other people-centered. They're resilient, which means even when they mess up or things get really tough, they brush themselves off and try again. They actively look for ways to step in and lift the burden off others. They totally get that the church is a family. And in any healthy family, everyone's got a chore to do.
And look, this isn't just some clever organizational strategy to recruit volunteers. This is a severe theological issue. In Matthew chapter 25, Jesus tells the parable of the talents, and he absolutely does not mince words regarding people who hide their God-given gifts. He literally calls them wicked and lazy before casting the good-for-nothing servant into the outer darkness where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth. I mean, wow. Jesus gave us gifts, time, and resources, and he expects a return on that investment for his kingdom. The danger of not being a faithful servant, of just burying what God gave us because we're complacent, is incredibly stark. Discovery Sunday is basically designed to prevent us from making that exact mistake and wasting those gifts.
That theological urgency is exactly why active service is needed right this second. The church has mapped out this KOG cycle of growth, and it is an explosive vision for the future. Starting right now with 90-day initiatives like the 915 service launch, the trajectory just shoots upward. Within a year, the goal is 75 households serving across 3 congregations. 3 years out, 5 congregations and fully packed classrooms of KOG kids. And if you look a decade down the line, we're talking about a massive 500 households serving across 10 different fellowships. The vision is huge, but to pull this off without completely burning out the core leadership, the church urgently needs people to snap out of consumer mode and step into active roles.
And that is exactly where Discovery Sunday comes in. The official goal here is simple: to help people clearly see what the actual needs of the church are and exactly what the onboarding process involves. It's an event where you can literally walk up to stalls and see what needs doing. And here's the beautiful part of all this. The aim is to perfectly match your specific God-given gifts to the church's real-time needs. One of the biggest prayers for this whole thing is that people won't feel abandoned or feel like they're just being tossed in the deep end alone. It's supposed to be a joyful opportunity to get plugged in securely, safely, and with total support.
But before we even talk about specific roles, we really have to look at what they call the shared team flavor. Because whether you're up front holding a microphone or in the back holding a door, these 5 traits are the non-negotiable DNA of every single team. First off, you must be Christ-honoring. Jesus takes center stage, not you and not your personal preferences. You have to be other people-centered. You've got to be responsible, which just means if you say you'll be there, you actually show up. You need to be resilient because ministry gets messy, tech fails, things flop, but you try again. And finally, you must be grateful for the immense privilege of serving the King, even when no one sees what you're doing.
Okay, so let's get into the actual tangible needs, starting with the Glorifying Grow Ministries. If you're musically gifted, they need 4 people to prayerfully choose and play Christ-honoring music. If you're more technically minded, the AV team needs 2 precision operators to manage the sound in the stream, making sure nothing distracts from the gospel. And over in the Grow category, KOG Kids desperately needs 2 assistant helpers. And just to be clear, this is way beyond babysitting. This is child-centered, joyful teaching, helping kids grow as disciples from day one, all in a highly supervised, super safe environment.
Now, equally vital are the behind-the-scenes engines, what they call the governance and go ministries. The administration team needs 2 people to essentially act as the structural trellis supporting the vine, doing things like handling sermon scripts and companion booklets. The Safe Ministry Awareness team needs 2 people hyper-focused on monitoring health and safety, because protecting the vulnerable is how we love them well. And for the creatives tuning in, the Go category needs 1 designer to construct the visual front door of the church. This means using tools like Canva to make sure people encounter the gospel beautifully before they even set foot in the building.
To put this into perspective, consider 2 totally different Sunday morning roles. If you've got that gregarious, outgoing energy, you absolutely belong with the welcomers, greeting newcomers during that critical 2-minute window when they enter and leave, learning names and making connections. But hey, if you prefer to be the glue, the logistics team arrives at 8:15 a.m. to quietly and patiently set up the spaces every single week without drawing any attention to themselves at all. So whether you are a high-energy extrovert or someone who loves quiet, physical, behind-the-scenes work, there is literally a specific needed place for you.
Now, if you're thinking, okay, I want to help, but I have no idea how, don't worry. There is a very clear, mandatory onboarding process, so you aren't just left to figure it out. Step 1 is completing the discovery course within 3 months of starting your role. Step 2 is all about safety. If you're around kids or vulnerable people, strict, safe ministry training and working with children checks are 100% required. And Step 3 is committing to a growth group with a goal of 75% attendance. Why? Because you are a disciple first and a worker second. They want you nourished by the word, not just checking off a to-do list.
So, while the total number of open roles across all these ministries is higher, the immediate target for this Discovery Sunday boils down to one super critical number: 5. 5 crucial positions that have to be filled right now to keep this mission moving forward. That means 5 people making a deliberate, conscious choice to cross the line from consumer to servant. 5 people deciding that building a gospel-breathing nation is absolutely worth their time, their energy, and their commitment.
The needs are crystal clear, the safety net is securely in place, and that 10-year vision is massive. And as we saw earlier, the theological danger of burying your talents and being called a wicked and lazy servant by Jesus is real. We need to fill 5 crucial positions today. The stalls are ready, the opportunities are there. So here's the bottom line. Will you abandon the consumer mindset and actually offer your gifts for His glory? Or will you just stay comfortably on the sidelines?